on entering the Majestic 175, we have the step switch just here. We then have the main control panel. Main control panel on these particular Majestics are very easy to use. You'll see we firstly have the master switch just here. So if I now press that, 12 volt is now on in the van, and it will display the voltage in this window just here. This switch here needs to be on when you're hooked up to the main supply if you want to be charging the leisure battery. Next, above that, we have lights, and this basically kind of works a bit like an entrance light. You will see that it does all the top lighting above the overhead lockers. Next we have water. So if we return to this gauge, and instead of looking at the voltage, we look at the blue part, it will let us know how much water is in the fresh tank. As you can see, we're full at the moment. After that, we have water pump. So that's now water pump on, so we can get water out of the taps, flush the toilet. Whenever the pump is running, so if I now just go to the sink and turn the tap on, like so, and now come back to the control panel, you'll see the green light is on. So whenever the green light is on, the pump is active. And if I now go back and turn it back off again, you will see that the light has gone back out again. Okay, next we have a red light just here. This will illuminate when your grey water needs emptying. And below the pump switch, we literally just have the awning light. So awning light on, awning light off. Nice and easy to use. If I now spin round, we will come to the door that comes into the washroom. We have a fairly standard Thetford toilet, electric flush. Literally just push like so, and you will get an illumination here to let you know when the cassette needs emptying. Fairly normal stuff to open and close the cassette. Grey lever just here. If this grey lever is left open, like so, and you try to remove the cassette, it will not come out, so do make sure it is closed. We then have the shower and the wardrobe. And basin just here. Okay. If we now come back out of the washroom, we then have the daily microwave. Will only work when you're hooked up to main supply, and these particular models have this eco button just here. So to use it, do make sure you press that in first, and then it behaves like any normal microwave. After that, we have the Dometic fridge freezer, on and off on this button here. We are currently using main supply, a little picture of the 2-pin plug. If we want to run on gas, just press the flame, and then these particular fridge freezers will automatically ignite themselves. If they fail to ignite, you will get a beeping sound to let you know. After that, we then have 12 volt maintain. This is the one we put it on when we're driving to keep the unit cold on the move. If I press this one at the moment, it will beep at us, and you will see we get a little red flashy light just here because the engine isn't currently running. If you have tried to light on gas and it has failed, again you will get the beeping sound and this part here will start to flash. If you know you've got your gas on but you might have a bit of air in the system and it just needs to try again, just press this. It works as the gas reset. It does show you on this little sticker here. To alter the temperature, just press this button here. And then just push down to open. And there we have a nice large fridge and freezer compartment. To turn back off again, exactly the same as turning on. Just hold the button. We then have hob. We have one electric hot plate that works off the main supply and is operated on this button just here. The red light will come on to let you know that it's in operation. All the rest are just literally gas. So push in, press the igniter, and away you go. There we have it. Exactly the same with the grill. Just literally push in and press the igniter. There we are. And again, same with the oven. There we go. Beside the oven, we have the storage, if I can get it in shot, for the freestanding table. If we return back to where the microwave is and then go just above it, just in this overhead locker here, we have the isolator switch for the microwave. So if you don't want it consuming any energy whatsoever, you can just isolate it just here. And then directly underneath that is the controls for the satellite dish on the roof. It's very simple to use. Just come to this button here and press it, and it will then illuminate, and it will automatically raise the dish and automatically start searching for Astra 2, which is the main satellite for the UK. If I now just venture back outside again and then come, you will now see that the dish has raised and it will start spinning around and skewing to locate the satellite. There we go. Right, we can also change settings, which is not really necessary, but we can also search for other satellites if you want foreign telly, etc. You'll see that this tick here, just hold it, and you will then go into its settings, and you can then use the arrow keys to pick whatever satellite you want. As you can see, sat change, just literally hit the arrow and then pick a different satellite. To put the mast back down again, literally hold and keep holding. You will see now that it should, well, you probably can't because of the brightness of the screen, but it will first say sat scan. Again, if I now press the tick, it will now just start scanning again for Astra 2. But if I now press it again, it will now start retracting and putting itself away. It's not the end of the world if you don't do this. All satellites come with a safety protocol, so if you start the ignition of the van, it will automatically put itself away. Okay, let's close that back up. And now move to the ceiling of the motorhome. This is an Omnivent fan, nice and easy to use. If I just get it turned around here, try and get in some light. Very difficult to see, hang on. There we go, that's better. You will now see we have an on button just here. And then we've got arrows out for extraction and arrows in for cooling. Variable fan speed. Just make sure that the roof vent has been opened on this point here. I've already opened it, so to then close it, just literally turn it like so. That's now shut again, and then if I press that, it's back off again. If I now come into this overhead locker just here, we then have the standard digital television aerial that's also on the roof. So you can either use the satellite dish or just the digital aerial. Just make sure that it's turned on here, and then plug your aerial fly lead into this point here and then into the back of your telly. You've then got 12 volt and main supply depending on what kind of television you're running. If you are going to use the satellite dish, the satellite cable is just here. If you're running a television with a built-in satellite decoder, just screw that into your telly. Obviously if you're not, you will need a digibox. Right, next we have the controls for the Whale water heater. There are two switches just here. This one here is if you wish to heat your hot water on gas. Literally just flick the switch down to the flame, and then the boiler will automatically ignite itself. Once it's ignited, a little green light will come on to let you know that everything is running as it should, as it's just done. If it had failed to light due to the fact that the gas had run out, gas bottle not on, or a bit of air in the system, a red light would begin to flash just here to let you know it's failed. If I now turn it back off again and then come to this rocker switch here, when the rocker switch is in the middle, it's off. If I now flick it down, we're now heating hot water on mains electricity using about 2 kilowatts. And if I flick it to off and then flick it up again, we're then heating hot water on main supply at about 1 kilowatt. Same again, if you didn't have main supply connected or you tripped, etc., the red light will begin to flash to let you know. Once you think you've rectified the problem, whether it's a gas issue or a main supply issue, you do need to reset the control panel. If it was a gas issue, you literally need to turn it on and off. But you do have to be quite aggressive. Not like this, you do really need to rock it backwards and forwards until the red light goes out. And exactly the same with the main supply. Just literally like so. You won't break it, but this is what's needed for it to reset. If I now come down to these ones here, these are the controls for the Whale space heater. This side here, as it says, is literally just the room temperature, so the thermostat. So the thicker the red line, the hotter it is. And then this one here picks the power source. So we're currently off. If I now flick to one wavy line, if you remember up there, top there for the water heater, wavy lines represent main supply. So we're now using main supply, using about 500 watts. If I then flick it down again, we're then using main supply, using about 1 kilowatt. Flick it down again, main supply using about 2 kilowatts. And then if I flick it down again, we're then running the space heater in dual fuel. So we're using main supply at 1 kilowatt and the gas supply. Very handy if it's very cold outside and you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly. Same again, whenever the space heater is using gas, the green light will appear. And if there's a power source issue in any shape or form, whether that's mains or gas, the red light will start to flash. As you can see, we're now lit. Very similar to the boiler itself. To clear the red flashy light, it is on off again. But with this one, same again, you do have to be quite aggressive to reset it. So it is a bit twisting it all around until the red light goes out. Right, if we now move along again and we come to this bench seat just here. If I now remove the cushions, we will then come to the boiler itself. So remove them out of the way and then lift up, all held up nicely on gas struts. So the whale boiler is just here, and then the boiler drain valve is just here. It's currently in the closed position as it sits at the moment, holding water in it. To drain it down for winterization, just flap up like so, and it's now chucking all the water out of the boiler at that point just there. You may be able to hear in the background that the water pump is currently running because I haven't turned it off, and I've opened up the boiler drain. It's now frantically trying to refill itself. So to refill it, flap it back across, make sure you've got water in your fresh tank, turn your water pump on, and it will then reprime the boiler back up again. It's fairly normal, common practice to open up your taps, blow all the air out. When you've drained down for winterization, so you've drained off all your tanks and you've then drained this lever, it is always a good idea to leave all of your taps open. That way, if there is a harsh frost, you will not split the pipes. This here is where the space heater sits. These are underfloor mounted. And as you just saw, this is where the water pump sits. You will also see gas isolation tap for the space heater just there, and a gas isolation tap for the boiler just there. You will find wherever there's a gas appliance, there's a gas isolation tap in this motorhome. They're all in the on position, and really they can stay like that. They're more for maintenance than anything else. My motto is smell gas in the van, go to the source and turn the gas bottle off. Now close back up again, and we then come across to the other bench seat. Underneath this bench seat here is all storage, but just at the very end is the consumer unit. So we have all of the trip switches all running along the top. So we've got all our individual MCBs, our RCD and our test button just there, and then we have all the 12 volt fuses all running along the bottom, again all labelled up, so it does make life nice and easy. That is all the main components in the back of the Majestic 175.